Hi, I'm Carolina Ravassa, and I would put arepas into my immigrant jam.
No me digas. We are back with another brand new spanking juicy, delicious and nutritious episode of Immigrant Jam, the podcast, live from New York City. I'm your host, Lucy Pohl. What's up, everybody? If you're new, welcome. This is a podcast about immigrants. That's right, one immigrant at a time. We're loving it. Hello and welcome. And without further ado, I must introduce the guest of the hour, the beautiful, the amazing, the delicious, the nutritious, my good friend, voice actress, woman extraordinaire, producer. What doesn't she do? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out on this episode. She comes all the way from the great country of Colombia. Ever heard of it? Please welcome the one, the only Miss Carolina Ravassa. Woo!
Gracias. Great intro.
Arepas? I thought arepas are from Venezuela.
Don't even start.
Really? Really?
It's our thing. Talk to any. Yes. I was just with a Venezuelan friend. She's like, "Ay, but we all know arepas are from Venezuela," and I'm like, "No, they're not." So it's a thing. We don't know what country invented them. Both countries,
claim them.
They're different. Venezuelans do arepas and they stuff them with a bunch of things.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Colombians do arepas mostly for breakfast. And there's different kinds of arepas. There's arepa with egg inside, and then it's deep fried, and that's on the coast. And then in Cali we have arepas with like the little white cheese on top, like a breakfast thing. So they're different kinds. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to fight, but I love arepas. And I will eat Venezuelan arepas happily.
But you can tell a Venezuelan arepa when you see one.
Yeah, because they make them like a sandwich with like pork or beans or avocado or whatever. We don't stuff ours. We just put stuff on top.
Ah, very interesting. I wonder what that means psychologically about Colombians.
Yeah.
We don't stuff
Our people.
Yes, go for it.
Number 4.
Mike has something to say.
So, arepas.
Uh-oh. There's been a Google.
No, you might like this. Arepas come from the region that is pre-Columbian. So it comes from the area which is now Colombia, Panama, and Venezuela.
Cool.
So they are Colombian.
And when we say pre-Columbian times, we actually
native.
mean pre-Columbus.
Yes, so they're native. From the natives.
Yes, from the area. Right.
Yeah.
But of course, now that we're divided, thank you. That is awesome.
But you grew up in Cali, yes? Yeah. Tell us what that's like. What's it like over there?
Well, Colombia is a huge country with many different regions, and Cali is near the Pacific coast, but in a valley. So we don't really go to the beach. I grew up surrounded by mountains. And
so do they talk in Spanish with like a vocal fry there because they're from the valley? Get it?
Yes. They fry a lot of food there, for sure. So the fry is happening. I'm trying to pun here.
Nice.
Cali is warm weather. So I grew up in warm weather all year round. Sun rises at 6 a.m., sets at 6 p.m. Like, no different.
Oh, wow.
And we have like maybe rainy season and dry season, but it's not like monsoon. It's just, it rains a little more here and there. But it's always pretty warm and breezy in the afternoons. And I love that. So I love living in LA now because I don't need seasons to be a happy person. And Cali is the salsa capital of the world.
Really?
We say that, and I know Puerto Ricans will take offense to it, but the story...
You're offending a lot of people here.
Yeah, I know. We started
now Puerto
offending,
Ricans,
yes.
not even 3 minutes in.
I'm a salsa addict.
That's true. I know this about you. I've gone salsa dancing with you.
I love salsa dancing. And so I read this book because I wanted to understand where salsa came from. And Puerto Ricans started salsa in the States, in New York City. So it's a completely New Yorker thing based on like Cuban son and stuff. But when they were creating their LPs, all the New Yorkers that were playing in New York, all the music was coming down in boats through the port of Buenaventura, which is really close to Cali. So they started like this black market trying to get like the new album of salsa. And then Cali was the first city in Colombia that started really hearing salsa before any other place. So then they started their own salsa bands. And now we have our own way of dancing salsa. So it's very different to Puerto Rican salsa, but it's like
And then there's New York salsa, or is New York salsa Puerto Rican salsa?
Yeah, they're one and the same in terms of like they dance on 2, we dance on 1. It's a whole beat thing. I just learned about that when I got here to
So you grew up dancing salsa?
Yeah.
So your whole
Merengue and salsa.
family dance salsa?
No, I mean, my mom likes dancing. My dad sort of dances at weddings if he wants to. I became obsessed and I love it. I mean, Pablo Escobar died in 1993. And then basically the drug trafficking came to Cali instead of Medellin. So in the late 90s, it was still really dangerous to live in Cali.
How good is the cocaine?
You know what's funny? I have never done cocaine.
No, of course. Me neither. Who's done cocaine?
I don't judge it. It's just
Who in
funny.
their right mind?
I'm a Colombian and I've never done cocaine and I'm not interested. So, I feel like everything should be legal so we can just have a really great economy. But yeah, I've never done it.
I love that. Your grandmother is American, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. One grandma on my mom's side is from Wisconsin. And she was just like good old Wisconsin, oh, don't you know, like German heritage. Lucy, maybe we are related. I hadn't put that together.
German.
Girl, she's German. Her father was German and grandfather, and she grew up in Wisconsin. And she fell in love with my grandfather in the 40s and moved down to Colombia.
And he was Colombian.
He was Colombian. He was in Chicago working, and they met. And mi abuela hablaba español así. Like, she never learned to speak it with a different accent. She spoke perfect grammatically, but not, I mean, she tenía acento mucho pasado. And then on the other side, my dad's dad was from Spain. Ravassa is Catalan from Catalunya. So I had a little bit of influence from the U.S. and then like Spanish food. My dad cooked a lot of like Spanish tortillas and he would go into a perfect accent if he wanted to, like a Spanish accent. So we kind of had a little bit of a mix. I'm not your typical Colombian because I had influence from other places. So we didn't eat a lot of rice and beans growing up. You know, like my grandma made salads and freaking deviled eggs and American stuff, you know. So it was a mix. My household was definitely a little strange. My friends made fun of me because I was gringa. So I was like American. So I spoke perfect English since I was really young. So they were learning to speak English like this, and I was already talking like this. And then I speak in English to my mom, and they'd be like, "Ay, Carolina tan gringa." And I hated that. I fucking hated that. And then my grandma would answer the phone because we had landlines. "Hello? I called your house and someone answered in English." And I'm like, "She just said hello. Just say I need to talk to Carolina and she'll put me on the phone." So, there was always this thing that I was American. Like anybody, right? You're gonna get made fun of for whatever's different. So yes, we got made fun of for that. And my boxed lunches were different than the Colombians. My grandma made fucking pickles, and I took pickles in my lunchbox, and they were like, "What the fuck is that?"
Did you like it, or did you want rice and beans?
I liked pickles at my house. I didn't want to take them to school. Pickles are completely. Pickling anything is like not Colombian.
Right. So you wanted to eat pickles in secret.
In secret. I was a closeted pickle eater.
Right.
And she'd make roast pork, and then so I'd take like pork and potatoes, and like she'd put gravy on it in the morning, which was nice and hot. But then by the time lunch came around, it was gelled and it looked gross. And they were just eating at the cafeteria, which was like lentils and rice, or like taking a really simple sandwich on freaking Wonder Bread. And I just wanted to be normal.
You made this web series called Hispano-Saxon, which basically was based on the fact that, the thing you just mentioned, that you would audition, people would tell you you're not Latina enough, you're not white enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough.
Yeah.
So was that like a long period of struggle, or what was that like?
Oh my God. I waited tables in New York for 6 or 7 years while I was pursuing acting. So that paid the bills. And then I was auditioning.
Were you a good waitress?
Yeah. I say that with pride.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it. I love giving good service.
When I waited tables, I began really despising people.
Yes.
Like, I'd be like, "Hi, how are you?" And then I'd walk around the corner and be like, "You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, you fuck. I fucking fuck." Like, I wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
I really became a people-hating machine.
Funny thing is, I booked OverWatch still kind of just hodgepodging jobs together. But Overwatch is a video game that we work on. And I didn't think it was going to be a big thing. Nothing. Even BlizzCon happened where the game had its boom, but I didn't understand fully what it was. And then the next year, I did not book a single acting job. So I didn't have my SAG-AFTRA health insurance. And the only thing that paid my bills was us being invited to Comic-Cons. And when I would travel, I would put my apartment on Airbnb to cover the rent. So I was literally like living off of cons and Airbnb and like making it work. So that year I would have had to wait tables if conventions didn't come. So that was kind of the beginning of me starting to get out of the mess, right? And then slowly it was, cons and voiceover gigs. And then like kind of like a balance of things.
But that's an interesting thing for people listening, especially OverWatch people listening, because I think that there's this misconception that if somebody is involved in like a big project or something big that blows up, that then they just have it made and they have tons of money and all that. But that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
And for us, especially, OverWatch was such a weird phenomenon that happened that just exploded and became so popular. And we became so popular, which was kind of unprecedented in that like voice actor space. Yeah. Usually voice actors get popular for like a body of work.
And a bunch of animation stuff.
Exactly. And we just kind of exploded onto the scene. And I think it was that was the case for a lot of us. Like we had this, but we weren't like in the voice acting, community booking.
I was recording voiceover gigs for McDonald's in Spanish. Gillette in Spanish, like random.
Yeah, I was doing only German stuff too. Yeah. I had to, when I booked OverWatch, because I had been trying to convince my agents at that time to send me out for English stuff. And they wouldn't send me out. And I'd be like,
because you were foreign language.
English. And they'd say, we only cross over Spanish talent. And I'm like, but I don't
I'm
understand.
American.
I grew up here.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. We don't do that. And then I booked OverWatch and I was like, you guys are going to have to now do this.
Yeah.
This is like enough of this.
Yeah.
Still didn't book anything. But yeah, I think that's interesting for people listening, especially like OverWatch people and non-OverWatch people. I think, you see somebody like Brad Pitt, of course, has it made, but a lot of other people are in like something that takes off, and it doesn't really necessarily mean that they.
And when we did OverWatch, I recorded maybe 4 sessions. So I got paid for those 4 sessions, but that's 4 days of work, guys. Not even 4 half days. Right. So like the rest of the year, you're trying to figure it out. So that's
Did you know when you booked it that it was going to be a big deal? No. But so then OverWatch changed your life.
It did. Yeah, it really did. A year into OverWatch, because I was meeting so many voice actors on the convention circuit, they were all like, "Why aren't you in LA? That's where the work is." And I'm like, "I don't know. I love New York." And they were like, "Try it out. What do you got to lose?" And I'm like, "I guess nothing." So I flew out with 2 suitcases.
But also you had a big like life change.
Yes, I had been with a partner for 10 years, and they broke up with me a month after OverWatch blew up. The timing was crazy. So that year of the first year of conventions, I was like struggling between like broken heart and also like giving fans love and just going back home and crying. It was just like this very, very complicated year. And so yes, going out to LA was going to be easier to be like, well, nothing's holding me in New York, like this could be the opportunity for a life change. So Anjali hosted me for 3 weeks. And
Anjali Bhimani, who's been on this podcast and is also on OverWatch.
Yeah. And I started kind of like, I found a sublet. I did this, and then I started auditioning there. And I'm like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do animation. This is where it happens. And I started auditioning for all these really cool voiceover things. So it worked out. And then, so I came over, grabbed some more stuff, gave my apartment to my sister, furnished a little place in Silver Lake, and I just got my life together there. And it was awesome because I had a new OverWatch family. The voice actors were out there, like, Fio and Johnny and Chloe was coming and going, you were going out sometimes. So it was just kind of cool to like start anew, but have this different life happening, So now I'm a full-on voice actor.
Now I'm a full-ass
voice actress. And I love it in animation and video games and a little bit of commercials and a little bit of this and that. But oh my God, it's so fulfilling. I'm a happy.
But you didn't see that for yourself.
God,
that
no.
path.
I never, as a kid, I loved Robin Williams doing the genie and Batty Coda in Fern Gully. And I kind of, I wanted to be a cartoon. But then I just forgot it because it didn't seem like a viable thing here in New York. Like I never got auditions for that, and I just didn't understand how it happened. And then as I got back out there and I started auditioning and really, I'd done my web series, so I had a slew of characters in me, accents, my Jewish old lady who smokes a lot. But then all of a sudden, like...
That's offensive.
I'm sorry. I appropriated the culture. I learned how to use shtup and schlep, and I do a lot of... I say a lot of words like that to convince. But So yeah, no, I never thought voice acting was a career.
So what do you think like the life lesson is that you should let life take you into places? How do you think you can set yourself up to be open to go into directions that you didn't think you would go into? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember hearing Go Where the Love Is, and we keep trying to
And then I got herpes.
There's so many jokes there. And I think it just, how to be open to that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like the literal, you never know how it's going to happen. I think we have this idea of success.
Do you consider yourself successful? Obviously, everybody else considers you successful. Do you consider yourself successful?
Yes, but my definition of success is being happy with what you're doing. So, like, have you made it? Making it is such a weird thing to say. I think we're constantly making it. I remember when I got my first SAG-AFTRA gig, and it was 2 lines on a Disney movie. You think I've made it? From now on, I'm gonna book things. Yeah,
what were
right.
the lines? Do you remember?
I was on Step Up 3D, and the
3D.
3D.
Oh,
It was the third one, and it was in 3D.
wow.
And I'm opposite Allison Stoner, and I'm her best friend. And I say to her, "Come on," I forget her name. Blah blah blah. Let's go to the party. And I'm dressed up as a little witch because we're going to a Halloween party. But back to success, I think success is what fulfills you. It's not about money. Yes, I want to pay my bills, but I want to be doing stuff that I love.
Right. Do you think that's something that you learned from your parents? Like that definition of success, or from your upbringing, or where do you think that comes from?
For sure. My mom was very, very, very good with kids, and she started a nursery school, and it was an amazing nursery school. And my mom was great when we were kids, like doing art projects and like super dynamic stuff. We were always doing creative things at home, and I think that she knew that brought us joy, and it brought her joy to teach kids. And so I saw that in her. And my dad would start businesses of things that he liked. He also would draw. He wasn't a professional painter, but we were always doing things that brought us joy.
So your parents liked what they did. I think that's important, right? That's
For sure.
an important thing.
Yeah. Well, and my poor dad wanted to study art, but his father didn't let him and made him study law.
It could have been Hitler.
He could have been Hitler.
He became your
My dad,
so that's good.
didn't study art, so he became a Nazi. Guys, that's a joke. Please
No,
don't.
it's not a
tweet
joke.
that.
That's what happens.
I do think that, man, Hitler, why didn't you just continue painting?
There's a lot of people that look up to us.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, if you only knew
How hard the journey was.
No, what a mess I am. But do you ever have that feeling like that? I sometimes I get ashamed. I feel like some sort of shame or guilt, or I feel like these people look up to us, or especially, in the video game world where people spend so many hours playing a game, and they become very, very attached to the characters, and then they meet the people that voice the characters, and they kind of embody them for them, and so they put a lot of there's a lot of projection also that they put onto us. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that? Is I guess what I'm trying to ask is like how does that make you feel? Because I sometimes feel like I don't know if I deserve that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's tricky, right? They think we have all the answers, or they'll share some life story as if we've figured it out, and so we might have advice. I think when we meet them in person I've become a great listener because we have to, right? We're there and they come to tell us stories. And I also think that makes us better actors just because we're very in the moment, present. But I've learned to listen to what they're bringing, and it's just sort of, I don't have advice. I can't tell them like what's going to help, but I do think like reminding them to believe in themselves.
Although you are doing a little bit of the fortune teller look right now, Carolina.
I'm going to read your fortune right now, and I'm
don't have advice with that headband.
I'm wearing a head wrap. I'm appropriating the culture. This is the most ethnic I have felt in years.
No, sorry, I interrupted a beautiful thought.
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I think it's just reminding them to connect to, loved ones, connect to what they like to do, even if they're doing a job at Walmart or Costco or CVS, because these are the things I hear, right? Or they're like welders, whatever they do, because we've heard it all, right?
Welders?
Yeah.
What are you going back in time?
I met
What
a
the fuck?
welder in Las Vegas. A fan
In Las
Yeah.
Vegas?
Yeah, he would weld.
What the I think he was trying to pick you up.
No.
He was like, "Hello, good maiden. I'm a welder. I am."
He welded
Look at my strong welding hands.
trailers at trailer parks.
Trailers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his name was Grant, and
Grant the welder.
he came 2 years later to the next con I
giant
did in
welding
in Las
schlong.
Vegas. Shut up. so I understand that sometimes we cannot pay our bills with what we love to do. Because I didn't for the longest time. But if we say we're doing a day job at a restaurant, but then we're making time to go fishing, to paint, to knit, whatever the heck you like to do, I feel like that's connecting with your passion. That's the advice I give people. Like, do stuff that you love to. Yes, we have to pay our bills. We're going to do jobs that we hate. Dude, I was a babysitter. I arranged flowers. I did catering. Like, I've done a million jobs to pay bills.
Yeah.
All legal. Thank you very much.
Guess what I'm trying to ask more than that is how do you deal with this like certain level of like fame?
I call it famish. We're famous at cons, but not in real life, right? So
Yeah, but in the moment when they line up and stuff like that, what does it make you feel? Me, it makes me feel, I always want to say stop and it's not and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I feel like kind of ashamed.
no, don't feel shame. I mean, feel what you want, but
Well, what do you feel?
I just want to give them love. You know, I just want to give them joy. I just want to share, and I'll get real with them. You know, sometimes they're crying and they're sharing something, and I'm like, I understand what you're feeling. When Overwatch came out, I was heartbroken. You know, I understand. I think that just like I love, oh my God, Carlos Vives. He's a Colombian singer. If I met them, I'd also be like, oh my God. And I'm not comparing myself to Carlos Vives, but for them, this is like this. I've understood fandom like that.
Right.
You know, what you love David Hasselhoff. You would shit if you saw him. You said that to Ming Chen the other day. So
I would shit.
I know, and I know maybe you wouldn't shit yourself if you met him, but when we admire somebody, I think it's just awesome to be able to talk. I met Eve Ensler, and I thought she was rad, man.
Who's that?
She wrote the vagina monologues.
Oh, okay.
And in college, I was very much
Sorry.
into her stuff. And so meeting her was just like inspiring, you know? I
Yeah.
rapped to Eve Ensler. So the first time I saw the vagina monologues was in Spanish in Colombia. And they're monologues de la vagina.
puta? Ah,
De la
okay.
puta vagina. Their monologues, they're angry, they're funny, they're, you know, heart-wrenching. It's a mix of things. And one of them is like, my vagina's angry. It doesn't want to get waxed. Like all these different things. But one of them is like a little rap about different words for vagina. So like in English, it's probably like pussy, you know, punani, whatever.
It's a good rap.
And well, I don't know how it goes because I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But I went up to her and I said, the first time I heard your things was in Spanish in Colombia. I was 16. And oh my God, my favorite was when they rapped. And she's like, what? She goes, how did it go? And so I was like, la cuca, la vagina, la chocha. And I like kind of did it for her. And she was just like, oh. And then she signed my book. And I was like, that was an awesome interaction. Because she'd never heard like, or maybe she had, but like I'm going off like rapping in Spanish about vaginas, whatever.
Isn't every rap in Spanish about vaginas?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. A big vagina culture?
I mean, in reggaeton, they're singing about all of those. Yeah. Yeah.
Huge vagina culture, eh? Tell us more.
I'd like to think that hopefully the world is
But
just vagina
sex
culture.
it's a more sexual, less sexually repressed than the U.S. Is that true?
I don't know. I think there's a big dichotomy in Latin America.
Because of Catholicism?
Yes. I think that, yes, Colombian women are sensual, beautiful. They have gorgeous bodies. They dance salsa. They wear bright colors. You know, there's a song about women in my city. Las caleñas son como las flores. You know, and it's like, because they're like flowers and they come dressed in colors and they sway because they dance. And, you know, Latin American women are beautiful.
There's a song about German women too.
Das ist von Reichskos.
Die deutschen Frauen bringen dich um.
What were you saying? What are you saying?
German women will kill you.
They will eat your sausage.
Yeah, exactly.
But so and when we dance salsa, like the movies always sensualize it, and it's like, oh, they go to the club and that's where they kiss. And salsa can be sensual, but it can also just be like a really fun dance. But I think that because we have that comfort with our bodies, there can be closeness to sexuality, but then it's also a very Catholic country. And they're big believers, and they give their 10% to the church. not everybody, but a majority of them. And there's this whole like, you know, don't sin and blah blah blah. And so I think it's a mixed bag of like the town you're in, the city, how you were raised. Like some are very 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 religious, and others are just like, yeah, we're open and sexual and liberated. So I wouldn't say it's just sexually liberated more than the U.S. No, I don't know. I think it's a complicated answer.
Well, you have
got
to
very
write your
serious,
own
sorry.
vagina monologues
Yeah.
about that one. All right. Well, you know, I always ask my guests if they grew up with any funny sayings. Did you grow
Yes!
up with any? Do you have
I
some?
did.
Oh, yes.
So I wrote some down because they make me very happy.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I love saying now, and I repeat all the time, is like when something happens fast, or when like if somebody falls and like they flew real far, like, you know, like it was a funny fall. You're like, man, and they just like went flying like a pepa de guama. It's the seed of a guama, which is a really slippery fruit, and it just goes out. And pepa de
I
guama
love
is
the sound
hysterical.
effect.
Yeah, totally.
That's so great.
Or they flew out like a pedo de loca, like the fart of a crazy lady. So a crazy woman just like,
that's
the fart just goes out flying.
That's so good. The fart of a crazy lady.
Yes.
Pedo is fart?
Pedo,
Pedo.
De loca.
Pedo de loca.
Yeah, but then when you just go pedo de loca, salió volando como pedo de loca.
I love that.
Yeah, and then like if you like went out and you were I don't know, waiting for your friend, and then they didn't show up, and you'll be like, man, you left me standing there alone like a mushroom. Me
Like a
dejaste sola
mushroom.
como un champiñón. Or I was in the midst of this place alone like a mushroom, como un
In
champiñón.
German, we have that, but literally we say wie ein begossener Pudel, which means like a wet poodle.
That's hysterical.
So weird.
I love that. We'll say que chimba, which means that's so cool. But if something is chimbo, it's low quality. And if like chimba can be like fuck. You can say fucking cool, or I give 3 fucks, or like you can just use it in so many ways. And so chimba is like super Colombian. It's just funny because it means so many things, you know? But so when you say like, to each their own, like let that person do whatever the hell they want. In Spanish, we say, cada cual hace de su culo un valero. Everyone makes their own asshole a valero. So like stick whatever you want up your asshole. Or,
great.
Or cada cual hace de su culo un florero. A flower, like a vase. Stick whatever. It's
You
basically
want in your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
So,
stick something in your ass.
Yeah,
All
but
about sticking it in your ass.
basically. But
That's
it's just
great.
like, man, if you want to do that, yeah, do it. Like to each their own. Stick whatever you want up your ass.
Everybody makes their own vase out of their asshole.
Yes, basically. So I won't finish it.
beautiful.
I'll just say, cada cual hace de su culo un valero. Anyway, that's my favorite. I do say it all the time.
Okay, are you ready to play?
Yeah.
Are you ready to stop distracting from the
Mira,
mission
to
at
each their
hand?
asshole or whatever's. Yeah.
Are you ready to play the poll
Yeah,
questionnaire?
yeah.
Carolina, Ravassa, Sombra, and Overwatch 1 and 2, Raze and Valorant.
Thank you.
and other-
Carla in Dead Island 2.
Carla and Dead Island 2, and another hamster. No, the mom
Carolina
and
in Hamster and Gretel.
And Gretel. Are you ready to play the poll questionnaire? Yes or no?
I am ready.
Carolina Ravassa, if you were president of the United States of America, what American food would you ban?
I thought about this a lot. There's a lot of gross food in this country. The thing that pisses me off the most is when you order a side salad at like a diner or Middle America or wherever.
You've
and they-
already lost 275 million people.
Yeah.
Nobody orders a side salad in this country.
dude. or a salad, and they give you iceberg lettuce, croutons, grated cheddar cheese, and ranch dressing. It's disgusting. That's not a salad.
I agree.
It's disgusting.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
that's my answer.
I agree. I remember when I was like 16, I was home alone. I went to the supermarket. I was like, I'm going to buy a salad because I'm a grown up. And I bought an iceberg lettuce and I
Ew.
took it home. And my friends came over to smoke copious amounts of weed. And I said, hey, come here. Let me show you something. I opened the fridge. I
No.
was like, look at this lettuce. And they were like, that is a cabbage.
Lucy, what the hell?
That's what I think of
Oh
when I
my
think of.
God.
I was so proud. I was like, I'm buying iceberg lettuce, but no. Okay, side salad banned forever.
Those crappy side salads. Yes.
Those crappy American side salads. If you could add one amendment to the U.S. Constitution, what would you add?
That all weddings should go till 5 a.m.
Weddings.
Yeah.
Oh wow. You
just
believe in
fucking-
love.
I do.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Till 5 in the morning.
Yeah, like Colombian ones.
You know what? It
They
is
just go.
true. I did go to a wedding once, and they kicked everybody out at midnight, and it was so bizarre.
I know. I didn't know what
Yeah.
to do with myself. I'm like, oh, it's over? Oh, we're done. No. In Colombia,
So
you
weird.
dance and dance and dance, and then they feed you more, and then you sober up, and then you keep dancing, and then the sun
Yeah.
comes up.
And then you wonder why people make cocaine jokes.
Exactly.
Okay. If you could deport one American person, who would you deport?
I thought of something funny, and I couldn't. I just think like Tucker Carlson and Friends,
Yeah. Although he's already kind of gone, isn't he?
I don't know if he's deported, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Friends. Who are the friends?
Like all his Republican buddies, or like Taylor Greene lady, or like Trump. Yeah, of course,
Okay.
just
Oh, okay. Okay. So all
lot
those
of-
people.
Yeah, anybody who doesn't support like women's rights and LGBTQ rights, and
Yeah. You had to come up with a catchphrase for the United States of America. What would it be?
just melt some American cheese on it,
Okay.
or slap some American cheese on it.
All right.
I feel like that's America in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most Colombian thing you've ever done?
Holy shit, I was thinking about this. There's so many, but it's not the most Colombian, but it just felt hysterical. My sister was she bought a mattress, and we lived in Williamsburg, and we were taking it from wherever the store was back to her place, and it didn't fit obviously in the car, so we put it on top of the car, and then we tied it with rope, and then like we're holding on to it outside the window, and like I'm driving real slow so it wouldn't like fly off because we didn't have the proper things. And I'm sure a lot of people have done this, but we're in the States. It just felt like
You
such
wanted like a goat on top of it.
basically,
too,
it
and
felt like we had
few
the chickens
pineapples.
up there and eggs, and we were just laughing. And she's like, "Oh my god, I hope none of my friends see me." She was all embarrassed that like her friends were gonna see her in it, and I was just like, "Whatever, man." But that's the kind of shit that just feels so Colombian to me, even though I'm sure a bunch of people have had to do it, or American hipsters. But stuff like that is just funny, I guess. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's the most American thing you've ever done?
Well, this past 4th of July, I was on an adult slip and slide, and I felt, and then we had like, potato salad and hamburgers and mac and cheese, and that just felt like real American.
That's really American.
Yeah.
Okay, well, last question. You know what it is.
Oh God, I forget.
When are you going to Venmo me $5,000? Now, how can I meet David Hasselhoff?
David Hasselhoff.
Do you
okay,
know?
I thought about this.
Okay.
I think you should do your best video running in Far Rockaways with a red bathing suit on the beach in slow-mo and whipping your hair around like Pam with music and
Just
everything.
like Pam.
Yeah.
It's gonna go
And
just like- go
and
down
we'll
just like
post
Pam.
it on the World Wide Web.
Okay.
And retweet it, and he will have to look. He will have to say, "Who is this fabulous woman?"
With
Because he lives in
these
Germany, so he talks
tiny
like that.
tits that looks nothing like Pamela.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can put balloons in there, or you can go au naturel, and he will just be like, "Yeah."
Okay.
I feel like that would grab his attention because
You think
clearly he likes women in red bathing suits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm free later, so would you commit to doing
I would
that
film you.
on
I
this
would film you.
podcast right
Yeah,
now?
my camera on my iPhone's pretty decent, so we could do slow mo.
Okay.
Holy shit!
All right,
And
great.
you would look great running on the beach. Yeah, I think. we
Wow,
should
I
do it.
think you want to see this more than anything.
I think your fans would pay a lot on OnlyFans for this.
Have you thought of going on OnlyFans?
No.
Okay.
Oh, only when I was trying to fund my movie, Morgan's Mask, and I was desperate and no money was coming in. And I thought, but no, I didn't. Yeah.
All right. Well, Carolina Ravassa, where can people find you on the internet?
My Insta is probably the most active. It's just Ravassa, my last name. You can Google Carolina Ravassa and you'll find all the socials. But Twitter's Carolina Ravassa, TikTok's Carolina Ravassa, or Caro Ravassa. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Google her. you
My
fucking
movie Morgan's
lazy
Mask is on
fucks.
Amazon Prime TV, Apple, iTunes. It's a movie about a gamer and a cosplayer in the pandemic. I dress up as Mercy at the end of
You
the
do,
film.
and we didn't talk about it because I feel like you've done a lot of interviews about it, so people can look those up and and find out more about that. But everybody should
but your fans
see it.
listen to you more than anybody. So, here I'm talking about Morgan's Mask.
Yes, exactly. No, I mean, I didn't ask you about it because I feel like there's been a lot of stuff. But yes, everybody should see that movie and see everything that Carolina does. Check her out, watch her stuff, watch the movie, go meet her at cons, send her an arepa.
Yes.
Write a vagina monologue.
Yes.
Film yourself. Send it to her. That might be
Please,
good. Or
please.
a rap about vaginas, whatever, or not about vaginas, about anything else. Thank you so much to Douchebag Steve, Wesley,
Douchebag
JT,
Steve.
Craig, Gio, all the amazing people, Lumi, all the
we love you.
patrons. Check out the Patreon. There's extras on there, early access to episodes, all the good stuff, fun stuff on there, stuff that you don't get to see or hear anywhere else than there. So check it out. Give us a little rating, a review, 5 stars, please. Helps so much. Subscribe, like, whatever the hell. If you love this podcast, tell your friends. If you hate it, tell your enemies. We'll take those. No reason. The rubber chicken, why is it there?
Just checking.
Because
I played with it, but I wasn't sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
That's
cool,
why.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Carolina Ravassa, for being here.
Thank
Long
you.
time coming. Thank you to Tommy. Tommy boy.
Thank you, Tommy.
Producer extraordinaire. Thank you to Mike
Thank you,
Albanese. Sitting in graciously today. Thank you for listening. We love you. Get out of here. Go. Goodbye.